So Mark, you and I were talking earlier about our transformation that we did for IT, and one of the things I remember is we actually got pretty lucky in the sense that we had senior management all the way up to our CEO that was giving us a lot of support for this.
I was stunned, and I remember the slide that we're on when it was stated, this is just another VPI, and I stopped in my tracks and was like, okay, what did we do wrong, right? Or what are we about to embark on? But what we were doing was so radically different. You and I had talked about it. But how do you articulate that to senior leadership in a way that you're talking about engineering and automation and simplifying in terms that they understand?
Yeah, I agree. I think that engineering bit is we take it for granted.
Correct.
I realize that, wow, there's a lot that we need to quote unquote translate and do over there. And then explaining that, like you recall, right? Like we had HR we had to deal with, and we had legal to deal with, and this thing got, really big, really fast.
Absolutely. And you think about all the different teams that we had to educate on what we meant by engineering new processes. Think about how we wanted to say, okay, let's start reshaping our staff, not only augmenting the staff with new engineers, but how do we upskill them in a way, but educating everybody about what we meant.
And then, of course, we had to add that refinement and saying, okay, let's go a little further. And we're not just talking engineers anymore, we're going to talk about software engineers. So, teaching people that it's infrastructure as code. Not just IaaS, infrastructure as service, but infrastructure as code, and really reorienting that. I got to tell you, there were some interesting times there.
Took a step back, right? And then I think over time, you started seeing leadership understanding where we're going and what was it that we're doing, and that there were benefits. Not only did we reshape the way your organization focused on problems, right, or focused on outcomes, being very business focused or either infrastructure focused, making a 100-day process down to 11 minutes, and what are the benefits back to the organization?
Yeah, and again, I come back and saying, we really had the good fortune of having people that supported us and let us do this.
It could have been very easily, the response could have been stop what you're doing. And there's risk associated with that, not only for the teams that we support, but also our customers. But we were given the support necessary to go and say, okay, let's come back and try this again.
We got lucky, and I will use luck, right? It was we can do all the best planning, but that first team we put out there worked so well, and we did some amazing stuff. And then came team number 2, and I could be really kind about it and saying, yeah, it didn't go so well, or I could be a little bit more honest about it and saying, pretty close to an epic fail.
Yes, it was.
And I will tell you, all of a sudden, I had that oh my god moment. Like, one team worked well and team 2 isn't, and we've got 200 more of these to do, or 198 more of these to do, in a really short time frame. I was a little concerned, I'll tell you that. I might not have shown it to you guys. I was a little bit concerned.
And we stumbled multiple times on number 2. And it helped show us this could go wrong, and this could go wrong, and this could go wrong. But how do you take a step back as a team and figure out how do we fix that?
By the way, in hindsight, I'm so glad that happened, because had we gone 3 or 4 or 5 teams that worked perfectly well, I think we would have lulled ourselves into a serious false sense of security.
Agreed.
And the fact that this happened on the second one and we didn't do so well, and in fact, even as I said earlier, failed, it was great, in my opinion, looking back at it afterwards.
Absolutely.
In the moment, didn't feel so good.
No, and at that point, you start to question, okay, are we really doing the right thing? Is the organization ready for a change, or could we do this change within infrastructure and operations? Something we thought, absolutely, software-defined infrastructure. We could apply software to just about everything we do. But that caused us to take a step back and go, uh-oh, is this not the right thing? Are we not ready yet? Maybe we have to pivot and do something completely different. But we stayed the course. We just had to refine the way we were doing it and think about it differently.
Yeah, I'm glad we did that. I think that's when we finally realized, we figured it out. And by the way, I think this was a great application of the Agile principles. Did team 1, worked really well. Went to the second one, not so well. Realized that if we're going to actually make this go forward, we're going to have to figure out, as we said, an industrialized process.
Right.
And it's really good to go out there and take one thing and make it work well, but when you have to make it at scale, whole different way of thinking about it.
Well, we failed fast, and we failed fast multiple times on that, which is definitely what we wanted to do. And we had to put process around this to make sure we could scale it at the level we needed to. If we didn't do that, I think we would have probably not met our timelines that we wanted to, and I think we would have failed probably at the worst moments possible while we're deep into this. But also, we questioned, did we push ourselves enough, right? Again, that's that risk-reward side of it. If we're not pushing hard enough and we don't fail, could we have done more, right?
Yeah, and I keep coming back, is someone was looking out for us, right?
Absolutely.
We had this guardian angel somewhere above us, show us what worked and also showed us what didn't. The good part is we all came together and we see what wasn't working, and we're willing to be very brutally honest about that doesn't work. We got to try something different.
This process isn't perfect and there's no silver bullet, but we had to go and work through this is what we had to do in order to change and making sure everybody understood that change was necessary.